I can't do small. I was telling Fred, you know, so
I get to hear that.
Yes. So let me say that I think, you know, it's unfortunate that we had some of the things that happened at the Rich Hospital some few days or weeks ago. You know, I think what also became a little bit problematic is that the gentleman is known to have been involved in activities, if I don't have evidence that he's a member of the, let's say, the NDC, but activities that inured to the benefit of, let's say, the ruling government. So there were some who thought that this, his unruly behavior, I mean, if you look at the video, as for his behavior, as a physician, I can say straight away that it's a no-go area, it's uncalled for. I mean, look, you don't enter a place like the emergency ER where people are on the edge between life and death, where failure to administer a particular intervention at a particular time as a result of your disruption at the place can lead to the death of the person. So I don't know why, as a country, it's not debatable. We should not go there in terms of his behavior. The assault is another case, but just the mere disruption at the ER, it's like someone going to misbehave at a sanctuary or a holy place. You don't talk about which item he broke or didn't touch. The most important thing is that being at such a place is not correct.
But is that in contention? That's not in contention.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. So that alone is condemnable, and that in itself should be the substance. You know, people now move to the other leg of whether he hit the nurse or didn't cause a dislocation, and they've actually conveniently moved away from the act of disrupting activities at an emergency. That's my point. That this guy deserves absolute condemnation for, and look, me, although I'm a physician, there's the occasions where I've gone to a hospital and I'm not happy with, let's say, the department orientation of the staff in terms of their proactiveness and all that. But there's a way to go about it. Sometimes the first question I ask is that, who is the senior most person here? I want to talk to the doctor on duty. You go to the man who has discretion and supervision over the others and go like, please, I see that ABC is not proper. In fact, anytime you ask for the boss, that alone makes people start behaving because they realize that, no, this person has an idea of how to check a system. So I'm just saying this so that I let you know that I appreciate the fact that sometimes the urgency you see at an ER might not be what you expect. But there's a way to go about it. In fact, if you watch the video, other patients and relatives were telling the gentleman, calm down. You could see the signaling. Why were they doing that? These were ordinary men. They were telling him, in fact, I will not be surprised if some of them even had issues also. But they were like, calm down, because they could see that his behavior could endanger other lives. Now, fast forward. Unfortunately for my brother Akando, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then video or motion might be 1 million. The interaction that went on between him and the gentleman, the warmth was too much. See, we are not saying, I heard him say that, oh, we should have taken off my dress and like fought him or, no, that's not what they're saying. But sometimes, I don't want to say emotional intelligence, but you have to read the situation. You are going into a place where some of the staff feel that they've been intimidated, assaulted, whatever word you want to use. You are entering such a zone. You want to put up a behavior, especially when the gentleman has a background, where people assume or feel that his confidence to do all this is because he felt that his father was now the headmaster of the school. See, that's one analogy I was trying to put up, where a kid thinks that my dad is in charge of this school, and so is acting in a way that other students wouldn't, or the normal they have the confidence to do. So that warmth made people go like, is this minister really for his ministry like workers, or is for this gentleman who belongs to, or who is assumed to be sympathetic towards their cause?
But his minister, he's for the nurses and he's for Ghanaians.
No, I understand. But my point is that on a normal day, although you are for the whole country, you are the overall father of the ministry.
You are the one they will come to.
Exactly. So we are not saying be antagonistic to Ralph, but you must show concern through your actions.
So how would you, if it could have been you, so how would you have dealt with it as minister? If he came to you
Yes,
the way
yes.
he did,
You see,
whispering into your ears.
I mean, if you meet a friend, there are things that show that, oh, this relationship is beyond normal. Where I give you a handshake, we hit at the shoulder, I tap you on the chest, whisper. All those gestures were sort of unfortunate. But there's a strict, do you know there are different types of handshake? You shake someone and then it's okay. It means that it's formal. Even the fellow, that signal, someone can look at the handshake and say, oh, this handshake is strict, which means there's something, this minister is not happy with something. So I'm not saying you should have pushed the guy, but if I were a candle and this guy is even familiar, my handshake would be strict. And that would signal to him that things are not normal. I'm in a tight...
But he said he didn't know the guy.
Oh, well, but with all due respect, I don't want to say that Akando is not being honest. But if you're a politician, is it every citizen you meet that you go beyond handshake, you hit at the shoulder? No, there are some gestures when you put it. It shows that if you don't even know the guy, you've had some information that maybe this person is a friend or is sympathetic to us. But you see, don't let me go there. The point I want to make is that after the incident, the commentary from NDC, social media and some actors or sympathizers of the NDC, like this government, it's our government, but those sympathizers of the NDC, they started going at the GRNA, the gentleman, Tinkrai. It was like his picture was being posted on pages and all that, and people were like insulting the nurses that they were not being, they were lying, they were dishonest.
I'm mixing the issues. The Tinkran gentleman came in later. Because of some comments.
I want to lay a quick foundation. So before even the committee was set up, the thing became like a banter between the minister, unfortunately, the minister and Ralph on one hand, and then the nurses on the other. The picture started looking like, in fact, people started calling before the committee started that they should apologize to the minister. What's the name? Tinkran should apologize to the minister. Meanwhile, remember, this minister is receiving disaffection from some people because they feel that he was too warm to this gentleman. So when you now start attacking the nurse head, the spokesperson of the nurses that apologize to the minister, it's like you are confusing the matter. It's like making the victim rather come and say sorry. And so if the minister who is now being caught in this web is the one who summons or commissions an investigation, from the word go, there is some difficulty. I will not call it an intrinsic bias. But this gentleman who was reading the report, the chairman, he's a worker at the Ghana Service. I don't know whether his position has changed. He was one of the directors there.
Institutional care.
Yes. So he's going into an investigation where he has an idea of what his minister would have liked. Are you get what I'm saying? No.
But how do you know what
but that's why I gave you the background. Before he even started his work, people are calling on the nurses to apologize to the minister.
No. You are mixing the issues. There are people calling on the said nurse to apologize. As in, Mr. Tinkran is the one we are talking about, who is the secretary, the national secretary.
Yeah.
It was because he made some comments that he's just a farmer. No. Meant to be. Wait, let me finish. You come in.
That's what you said.
Which was meant to be derogatory.
With all due respect, sir.
Yeah. No. Let me just lay the foundation. So that was where people started calling him out.
But you see,
so once you say that, you set up one system against the other, and it will become political. So
that
is detracting from the main. Let me provide some other context.
I'm not doubting that.
Yeah. So the ministry, the ministry, so that we don't confuse the issues. The ministry was clear. After that interaction, the ministry issued a statement and it condemned the so-called assault and the chaos and all of that happened there. Let me just quote the first paragraph of that statement. It says, the Ministry of Health has taken note of the unfortunate incident that occurred at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, RAGE, the emergency department, and categorically condemns the act of interference, aggression, and assault on health workers. It goes on and on. But this is just to provide some idea that the condemnation of the act by the gentleman, I mean, nobody qualms with that, all right? But the issue then was, the lady allegedly said that she had a dislocated arm, etc. And the minister wanted to find out the full extent of what happened because he was called in.
All right.
He wanted to understand what happened. So I'm not sure that the committee was in a hurry or had an idea of what the minister wanted.
I'll show you why I am.
You said that?
Yes, I'm not why they feed into this perception that they were in a hurry to more or less say that.
To vindicate the
yes.
minister.
You know what? It's not just the farmer comment that made people started coming at the nurses. Some wanted the head of the nurses to have acted in a submissive manner. Not to even, because the nurses were not happy with the minister's handling when he went there, the way he was warmed to. And people, I saw that sympathizers of the government were not happy. Now, my brother, if I hit Fred, Honorable Agbenyo, I can hit him with blows 10, 20 times. If a doctor examines, it's possible you not find any fracture. They mention tenderness. Tenderness means when you feel the person, you touch, the person would react, which means there is pain. Now, why did the committee report say that there was no dislocation? And the whole country is talking about dislocation and will not speak to
fact
that
the doctor was not interviewed. The doctor was not called to be interviewed. It is the head, the HOD, head of department, that was called. But in any case, this is a fact-finding committee. So the person who was there, the person who examined, he did a diagnosis, polycontusion. And it tells you that secondary to physical attack, what is polycontusion? There's a swelling, there's redness, there's pain. What caused that redness? The committee said that the lady was taking pain medication. Was the pain medication for menstrual pains?
I don't know. The menstrual pains, people also take pain medication.
Yes, so that is the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Was the lady taking the pain for menstrual pains? So if now you tell me that there was no physical attack.
So they say it's secondary to the assault. The polycontusion is secondary to the assault, which means that the polycontusion is a result of the assault.
So the assault should have resulted in fracture. Is that what the committee is saying?
So let me speak to...
it is not fair. The committee wasn't fair in their dealings.
They were not fair because they didn't speak to the doctor who examined
their reports in any way does not speak to the actual happenings on the ground. What have caused the 88, which is woefully inadequate nursing staff at the emergency, reducing to 54? These are the things we need to be discussing, finding solutions to it, such that our health system will grow. But to go there, set a committee to exonerate somebody who enters, cause mayhem with hooligans at the emergency, the ministry shouldn't see us as being against them, but rather those doing that as being against the ministry. We are ready to cooperate with the ministry, but if you do or act in a way that will demoralize us, it will cost the ministry much more than what the guy is now working about. He was there at Ridge again.
The following day?
No, some few days, I think 2 days, where the administrator said he will not allow him access to the facility.
Why was he there again?
It is left for me and you to answer. I don't know what the
I thought you had the answer. Very good. So just Dr. Akwada is on Zoom. I'll talk to him soon. Fred, this is despicable. I mean, a gentleman walks into a hospital supposedly with some difficulty or with some injury, and then causes mayhem. Allegedly beats to pulp.
The nurses in Guan say they greet
they greet Fred. Your nurses are listening. Allegedly beats nurses or a nurse to pulp, and the committee comes up to say that there was no evidence of fracture to her left wrist or dislocation, etc. Your general view about the result or the reports by the committee?
Salam, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our viewers, especially the good people of the Republic of SAR. And my brother, my friend, Honorable Okoe-Boye, I haven't seen him in a while, and my friend Jefferson. Salam, I don't think that anybody has any right to walk into any health facility or any institution in this country and assault anybody because they disagree with them or that they are not happy or satisfied with the work they do. Nobody has any right to enter any facility, be it a hospital, a media house, a market. You can't enter anywhere and go and beat anybody or to go and assault anybody because you are not satisfied with the work they are doing or because you think that they've not treated your patient the way they are supposed to treat the person. And so to that extent, we need to condemn that act. And I am happy that the criminal aspect of this particular issue has been reported to the police. The police are supposed to investigate. If the gentleman is found culpable, he must be taken through the laws of the country to serve as a deterrent to anybody who wants to take the law into his own hands, walk into any institution to go and beat anybody. I condemn it in no uncertain terms. Sometimes it's even difficult to contribute to conversations like this, because I say every day, it's not everything that we must reduce to partisan politics. We can try as much as we could to be objective and look at the reality. If you have monitored all the commentary over the period, depending on who is speaking and where he comes from and the way he views the whole issue and how he presents and puts it across, it's not healthy. We can discuss an issue, what is wrong is wrong, what is right, without being honestly emotional and be honestly politicizing it to the extent that we have gotten to. You just mentioned the names of the persons who were constituted as a committee to investigate the happenings at Rich Hospital. These are not just any group of persons. Salom, can you mention the names for me once again? For the purpose of our viewers. And the position that they hold in the Ministry of Health.
Dr. Lawrence Okoe-Boye.
He's a medical doctor.
Yes, Director, Institutional Care Division.
So he's the Director of Institutional Care, all the institutions. And the Ministry of Health. He's the one who is in charge of their care. Ghana Health, Ministry of Health.
Wilfred Ado, Head, Internal Audit, Ministry of Health.
The whole internal audit, the head of internal audit of the Ministry of Health, a member of the committee.
Lawrence Lawson, Human Resource Ministry.
So the Human Resource Director.
We don't know if he's a director or not. Maybe Dr. Okoe can help, but he's from the
ministry. From the ministry.
Yes, and then Mrs. Evelyn Amoakum, Deputy Director, Nurses and Midwives at the ministry. Mr. Abubakar Mutu Rahman, Legal Practitioner at the ministry. Tony Goodman, Deputy Director, Head of Communication in the ministry. Dr. Ebenezer Odro Mensah, Deputy Director, Clinical Service Development, the Ghana Health Service was co-opted and he was secretary.
You see, we should learn to give, some credit to people's intelligence. And let's respect people the same way we want them to respect us. These are not mere persons.
Yes, but will you consider it a gap in the work of the committee, if indeed the doctor who attended to the said lady was not spoken to?
As we speak here today, we have not been able to establish if it is true that the doctor in question was not spoken to.
But the names of those spoken to is here.
Yes, but you don't know.
Her name is not here.
You don't know her name. Do you know the person?
No, then I have the medical report, at least what has been shared with me. The name is here as Dr. Jennifer Ya Obudai.
I will be surprised if the first
senior medical officer.
I will be very surprised if the first doctor who attended to the patient was not invited or her report was not included in the final report. I'll be surprised. That would be.
They said they looked at the report, but from what is here, she was obviously not spoken to.
I'll be surprised when the committee will not invite her. Because
so for you, that will constitute a gap in the work of the committee.
Of course, we can raise that. If it is true, I'm saying if it is true, I don't know. If it is true that they didn't speak to her at all, they didn't seek a view at all, that would be a gap. Because she has a first opportunity to have seen the patient at first hand, when the incident occurred. And so she can best give an accurate account of what she saw with her eyes and her experience touching the patient and all that. And so there's no way you can produce a report like this without factoring in her view into the report. So yes, if indeed it is true that she was not spoken to, her view was not sought before the report was concluded, that is a gap, or that is something we need to look at. But I'm saying that we cannot question the integrity of these persons who were put together.
But if a key witness is not invited or it's not been spoken
As
to.
we are speaking now.
That raises some issues. So
Selam,
the
we are-
integrity matter could be that they
Selam.
deliberately decided not to talk to the person.
We are speaking to
for a reason.
assumptions. We are speaking to assumptions. We are not speaking to facts. Because
But
you
the
and
fact,
I-
though, is that the name of the person is not here, which we can safely
you
know,
alluded to.
We can
You
safely
alluded.
conclude that by the name not being here, it means she was not spoken to.
In your introduction to this subject, you said that when the committee that was set up presented their report to the minister, they said they were not going to go to the entire report, and that they even attach evidence or exhibits that the minister can read and understand and appreciate what happened. So they were just giving a
So that
summary.
we understand there's a full report.
There's a full
But the
report.
point I'm making is that in the summary, summary is a compilation of the most salient points.
Yes.
So if the person who attended to the victim firsthand is not here, that is a very salient point to meet.
I have established that if it is true that she was not spoken to, her concerns were not taken
And that may
into
go to the
account.
integrity of the report itself.
Hold it. I'm saying that the person, I would have been happy if we can get one of the person, even Tony, what is the name? Goodman, who is the Deputy Director of Communication. If we can get him to speak to us, maybe we'll get some clarity. If indeed the daughter was spoken to, if a view was captured in the report that was presented to the minister. As of now, we are not too sure. Just because her name didn't appear here.
And this is what we have, and this is what we're working with.
Yes, so we are conjecturing. We don't
No,
have
not
we are
conjecturing
we are
per
not.
se.
I'm saying we are going to the extent that we don't have the full facts. We only have limited a summary of the fact. I agree that speaking to that particular daughter is a very, very, very important issue that should have found expression in the summary that we are speaking to this morning. But it's not there. Does that mean that it's not in the general report? Does that mean she was not spoken to? Could it have been an omission for which it is not here? These are things that we cannot directly provide any answers to. And so I am wondering, all the health agencies and bodies work up to the ministry. Is that not correct? They all work up to the ministry. And so if an incident occurred at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, and they didn't pick anybody from that hospital because they feared that, okay, because he or she works there directly, and so there may be some bias. So let the mother association, in this case the ministry, handle the issue. And we sit here and then we question the ministry, and we make a claim that it would have been better for us to have picked doctors from other facilities, or to pick people from other facilities, and that would have been more credible than these persons that were selected. For me, so the minister is so powerful that he can compromise all these people. What would be the minister's interest in the first place? To skew the report, for him to gain what? Now, there is no evidence that the Honorable Minister, Honorable Akando, pushed anybody at the Rich Hospital, insulted anybody at the Rich Hospital, assaulted anybody at the Regional Hospital. Today, if you know where the Ministry of Health is located, it's so close to the Rich Hospital. And so a minister hears that there's something going on within one of his institutions. Graciously, he ran out of his office because it's that close, right to the scene. This gentleman that you are saying that assaulted the person, the Honorable Minister is saying that I don't know the person. I've never seen him before. All of us as politicians, how many times do people rush to us, embrace us, hug us? So I'm fighting with my wife in the house. I'm bitter. So when I come out and I meet my brother Okoe-Boye and he hugs me, I should frown. I should stretch my hand in such a way to know that I am not a happy person. What kind of logic is this? If it were the case that the minister stood there watching this guy assaulting the people, insulting the nurse and doing all those things, and after doing that he came to hug the minister, then we have a conversation. The minister walked in after the incident has occurred. So at the time he was even hugging the gentleman, he didn't even know if he was involved in the brouhaha. He didn't even know if he was a nurse, he was a doctor, whoever he was.
But
he didn't
he
even
was
know.
told that that is a gentleman.
So when they told him, what did he do? Did he carry him at his back subsequently? Did he call him and
The
tap him
problem
at
was
the
that the interaction was too cozy
You
for
understand?
someone who had come to create such
But
a
that
mess.
was, at the time he did that, he didn't know he was the one. At the time he met him, that the gentleman allegedly embraced him and whispered into his ears, he didn't know who the gentleman was.
No, he had been told
It
that
was
this
after.
that this is the guy coming. This is the guy.
No, the information I have.
No,
that
but
it was
Tony
after.
Goodman confirmed on this show
Well, whatever the case
that
is.
Tony Goodman was there. That the minister didn't know him. It was when the gentleman was coming that he told him that this is the gentleman.
I pray that is the case. But you see, sometimes we leave the substance of issues and we trivialize and introduce, very irrelevant issues into the conversation just to dilute the real facts. I was surprised. Not really surprised. How, of course, why should anybody work for 8 months, 10 months, 1 year without a salary and allowance? That's condemnable. Everybody who is serving this country must be paid. Everybody who has worked for Ghana or has rendered a particular service to the nation must be paid. That will motivate the person to do his work very well. If you work here at CTFM for 8 months, they have not paid you. How are you expected to get fuel to come to work or to even have the peace of mind to come and work? And so that is a subject we can discuss. And we can call on whoever is responsible to pay those who are working to pay. You see, but when you make the point, as he did, that these persons have not been paid for 8 months. And so how do you expect them to give off their best to give us quality health care? He said categorically that cannot happen. I was listening to him. That cannot happen. Could that be a justification that because they have not been paid for 8 months and yet he went to work and because he didn't have the frame of mind, they sat back watching for the victim to go through what he went through?
But that position is not supported by the committee. Said they were attending.
No, I'm just questioning his logic now. He said that. I didn't say it. I sat here listening to him. No.
You heard him out of
You
context.
tried to interrogate him.
Yes.
Honorable Okoe-Boye even wanted to come and assist because he realized I was creating something and I asked him to give way for you to do your work. We all heard what he said. You see, I am reluctant to say what I want to say. When it comes to healthcare delivery, you can be the richest person under the sun. You can be the most powerful person. You can be the president of the country. You don't know at which point you need the services of any healthcare practitioner. And you don't know which person will be readily available to support you at that point in time. Until and unless, Salom, you have come face to face with healthcare delivery in this country, sometimes you don't appreciate the things that people go through. You can sit back and make all the emotional argument. What my brother Okoe-Boye did this morning that I'm happy with is to admit that even he as a medical doctor, there are times and occasions he goes to the hospital and facilities and he sees the way some of the persons conduct themselves that he's not happy with. But because he knows what to do, he's able to ask for the senior most person, he's able to call and question, and then that puts people on their toes. What you need to do from the health service and the nurses association and the rest is to rather engage more in public education. It is not for nothing that even Honorable Okoe-Boye here will admit that when his own wife is sick in the house, he will take the wife to the hospital for another doctor to attend to the person because the emotional attachment and all those things. If I bring my patient to the hospital and I see my patient wailing and crying and almost dying, the emotional attachment, I am not a doctor, I am not a nurse. You have been trained to do this work. And so you can come and observe the patient and based on your experience over the period, can conclude that even though he's screaming and shouting, the condition is not that dire as compared to one other person who is lying there quietly and not even talking. And so in your view, looking at your constraints, you may want to pay attention to that person before you come back to this person. The family member who is standing there with the emotion wouldn't know this. I shared an experience with you just last week. They called me that a cousin was knocked down by a motorbike in Okoe Government Hospital. I rushed to the emergency ward. The patient was there, been there. They don't have the CT scan, we call it. They don't have MRI, anything. The blood was coming from the nose and the ears and everything. It was lying there. They were giving me a drip. And they said they were giving some medicine so that they can make their brain beat whatever it is. Now, to get a bed at Okoe-Boye, the hospital said they call Okoe-Boye, they said no bed. They called 37, there's no bed. They call UGMC, there's no bed. I came in, they told me I have to also make my contact, make my calls here and there. Finally, now an ambulance to convey the person from Okoe to Accra was a problem. When you call the ambulance operator, they'll tell you, until unless you give them the doctor's number, and they call the hospital for the doctor to admit that they are ready to accept the patient, they are not moving. So now you have to get to 37, you get the doctor's number, you pass the number on to the ambulance people. Okoe Government Hospital, there was no ambulance when I went. The one they go from Kwando, on this way coming, they go to Alavanyu, right, broke down. No, none in Peki, none in Ho. They got ambulance all the way from Kwetwe.
And the patient was in the...
The patient was in this state.
The patient was in the car in that state.
No, it was in the hospital.
Okay, coming to pick the person.
Yes. So the ambulance will move all the way from Kwetwe to where you know the distance, you know the area, and you know the nature of the road. When they got there, I drove behind the patient. We got to Accra. By the time I got to 7 quite late, the doctors were available, the nurse, everybody. We did all the tests and the things that we need to do. Once I tell this, where the emergency ward waiting, they brought someone. In fact, every minute, this motor bicycle victim, they brought them in. And I think there was a small misunderstanding between one nurse and one of their relatives. I moved in to try to talk to the nurse to just take it easy, calm down, blah, blah. I was like, he was also very angry. Me, I can tell him my peace of mind and go to my, I don't care after all, it's his own patient. You know, you see these things on daily basis. I am saying that you are professionals. You have been trained. You have the understanding. Anybody who is sick is mentally unstable. Anybody who is sick can behave in a very funny way. When your wife, your son, your doctor, your relatives are sick, your attitude to everything is different. You are professionals. You have been trained to have emotional intelligence to be able to contain and tolerate and restrain yourself from reacting to everything that ordinary person who are just carried by emotions will do. So my call this morning is that the health ministry, the nurses association, all of you, we should do more of public education. That nurses are not happy to see anybody die. Doctors are not happy to see anybody die. They want to do their very best to save lives. But sometimes circumstances are very, very challenging. And the way we see things from our perspective as ordinary people is not the way they see it. And so when we come to hospital, I tell you, when finally we brought this my cousin to 37, they did all the scans and everything. The doctor called me into his ward. Then he showed me the scan report and explained everything to me. That where the condition is now, they can't do operation. He has to be in the ward. They'll be administering medicine. So the God has to buy some medication. They'll be giving it to him until the hair starts healing itself properly. And that they'll keep updating us every day or every 2 days about the condition. He went further to say that if I come to the ward and the patient is lying there and they are not attending to him, it doesn't mean they are not doing anything. And that they know. So I have this understanding. So if you want to come to the ward now and see the person even willing and doing whatever it
doesn't mean they are not working.
They are not working.
But how is the patient though?
Unfortunately, he passed on 2 days after.
Oh, that's so sad.
He couldn't survive. He passed on 2 days after. So I'm saying that you need to do more education. You need to carry the public along. Let us appreciate the work you do. Don't be sentimental, emotional about this.
Very well.
If you go and see your father or your mother die in the hospital and a colleague of you, is sitting down there, sometimes on his phone, visiting to a laptop, they are working, they are laughing. While your patient is dying, somebody's on photo, somebody is laughing and screaming. You tend to think that he doesn't care. And some of these emotional reactions may come in. I condemn it. It's unacceptable.
Very well.
But put yourself also on the side of these people. Then you appreciate why sometimes some people can do some of the things that they do.
Very well.
And so I beg, this issue, the least we can do is to commend the minister. Like my brother Okoe-Boye said, he could have sat in his office. He was even proposing that he should have sent somebody to go there. Minister, maybe hear this call. Next time something is happening in your institution, sit down in your comfort of your office as a boss and call somebody to go and attend to the issue. We shouldn't do this to ourselves.
Very well. Now,
Minister
Tony
didn't go there to beat anybody.
Tony Goodman has joined us on the line to clarify a few of the issues we raised. Tony, good morning. Welcome to the program. Tony Goodman is Deputy Director at the Ministry and Head of Communications. He was a member of the committee, and he's joined us to clarify a few things. Tony, good morning once again. So can you confirm to us whether you spoke to the nurse, the doctor in question, the doctor who saw and attended to the said nurse first, Dr. Jennifer Ya Obudai? Did the committee contact her? Did the committee speak to her?
Thank you. Let me say good morning to your distinguished panelists. And just to clarify, not to let the whole thing look as if I am speaking more than those in the city. They are doing justice to the topic. I just want to clarify some misconception. Yes, we spoke to every professional, nurse, medical officer, consultant, specialist, head of department on that set day. We spoke to all of them, spoke to everybody, including the doctor who saw Rejoice. When we were doing our work, the day we were supposed to speak to the said doctor, he was seeing I don't want to. She was seeing other people
No, it's a she.
in the emergency.
Is it the same person we are talking about, Dr. Jennifer Ya Obudai? It's a she.
I will not put out any names because of some cautions we've been given. So,
But can you confirm that this is the same person you spoke to?
let me confirm this, that we spoke to the doctor who saw the lady. The day we're doing that, we spoke to the two of them. We spoke to the doctor and Jennifer and Rejoice at the same time. What we're doing is that we ask the question, and then the doctor will say, oh, say, the lady would not deny what the doctor will say. This is what we did. The committee moved into the ward, get the two of them to speak to. We spoke to the two of them at the same time because we wanted to clarify certain points, and we're able to do that. Disregard anybody who said we did not talk to them.
Yes,
That
I
is
think that
not correct.
yes, the problem is that the doctor's name, this doctor's name, is not in your report as one of the persons you spoke to. I think that is the problem.
It's not a full report. The comprehensive report has all the names. As the questions he asked is in that document. The answers they gave is in that document.
So is it an omission? Inadvertent omission, or was it deliberate that the name was omitted in this report?
Actually, we didn't want to put out any name. We didn't want to do that.
But you eventually did. Some names are here, so.
No, some of them, we seek permission from some of them, and then. So the details I'm going to it, but I'm saying that we spoke to the doctor, we spoke to the nurse in question on the same day. They did not come to us in the Rich Hospital conference room. We went to them and spoke to them.
Very well. So thanks for clarifying that. The other point is, why are nurses working for 8 months, including rotation nurses, and they've not been paid? Of course, it may be a problem from the past, but why should it be so? Why should we continue it like that? People working for 8 months not paid, they cannot be happy doing their work, can they?
No. I sympathize with my dear nurses who have not received their salary. The minister has given the breakdown as to what happened. You know, their financial clearance was given for about 13,200. Some were put on the payroll. They are currently receiving their salary. The other who was put on the payroll, controller stopped AS because, their financial clearance got expired 31st December before they were processed. But we made a case for them, and then the 7,000 above they were paid. We are currently working with controller to clear the rest who have not been paid. These are financial clearance that were given around August, September last year. They started the process around November. So, in actually doing this, the ICPD system is such that you won't be able to capture all of them because the person must first posting, go to the various destinations, documentations are sent before the process. So I'm sure in that process, they were caught up in the gap. We are working on that. The minister is currently liaising with the Minister for Finance, and they are actually dealing with that. I sympathize with them too.
Yes, but Tony, did I hear you say that their financial clearance expired on December 31st? Is that correct?
That's correct. The financial clearance, actually, they give you a deadline. So you have to work within that deadline. If you are not able to finalize your work, it means that you have to go for extension. That has also been done. But because during that period, we quickly put them on the payroll before they were stopped by controller.
So when did this start working? 8 months means, when did they start working?
Yeah, they started working in January because they were posted. You remember the issue of those who were posted later last year, because we thought that these are persons that were posted after the transition period. So some were asked to stay. But for us in the Ministry of Health, we're giving clear directives to make sure that we capture all the on the table. And we
So these were people who, I know the Chief of Staff gave some directive that all persons employed at a certain time be made to go home. But I think special concession was made for, I think, nurses and teachers also. So these people fall within that category. Is that the point you are making?
Yes. Yes. Category, which means that they were given some concession for us to continue their process and make sure that they receive their salary. Yes.
I see. Thanks so much. So what's the way forward, all of this happening? What was the way forward? The minister, and shouldn't the ministry be interested in the criminal aspect of this whole assault situation at the ministry? Because, I mean, the consensus is that it affects staff morale. And so why can't the minister ensure that the said gentleman, Ralph, who is granting interviews all over the place, is at least invited by the police and questioned? We understand one of his people was arrested. I don't know what's happening to him. But he himself, who is the key architect of all of this, is freely walking about. That should be concerning, should it not? Should it not?
Salam, you see, for us in the Ministry of what we did was that we were not happy with what happened. So we quickly condemned the attack. We are not happy that a group of persons can go to our facility and attack the nurse and all that. So when you look at the terms of reference, it was part of it to look at the attack, for us to look at that aspect of it. So during our work, we went into it, where CCTV footage came, reports from the links on the hospital records and other footages reveal that did not happen. Her colleague on duty that day did not corroborate what she said. They said they didn't see that. So we came to this conclusion. I heard my friend Jeff was giving some analysis, giving some police report. I don't want to go into that. He has just one document and we're speaking to. We had the opportunity to analyze the host of information that was presented to us, including the people who were exposed on that day. We had a police report, the CCTV footage. If you take one document and you throw out in the media and start talking, you may be right or wrong, but we had a privilege to dissect, to look at various documents that came to us, and we came to the realization. We did not go into this work to let people look back. We actually wanted to put in place a system that is robust going forward. That is why we went into it. And the Ministry of Health is in charge of health care delivery in this country. So if a committee is going to work, it is the Ministry of Health who is supposed to put in place his best staff to do this work. The chairman of this committee is supposed to say that this work, because at the end of the day, institutional care and what happened versus how they work around the logistics that is provided. It's his job. But we made sure that we didn't show ourselves anything. Let's put everything out and let's give the minister everything. So that going forward, we can strengthen the regions and other hospitals across the country. So I want to say, my brother Honorable Brother said something, that we should look at the issue and not the other ones that are not important. What has happened has happened. Let's look into the future and strengthen our system. That is what we are going to. We are going to implement the implementation very well. The criminal aspect, we are interested in the criminal aspect.
But I think the criminal aspect should be pursued. All right, because you never know. You may find yourself at Ridge Hospital tomorrow, and I mean, yes. So thanks so much, and we hope that the criminal aspect is pursued and the right things are done. Are you meeting the nurses anytime soon to assure them? They were also not happy that their representative was not on the committee.
As what? The lady is a member of the GRNMA. They should tell you their constitution, which aspect made the rotation as a member.
By the rotation.
Don't mind my brother Jeff. They just want to. They are looking for fight that is not their fight, and then throwing blows in the air. Jeff, take care.
All right, Tony, thanks so much. Thank you so much for your intervention. Tony Goodman is the Deputy Director at the Ministry, and a member of the committee, Head of Communication at the Ministry as well. Nana Akwada, Nana Akwada, doctor, public safety analyst and executive director of the Bureau of Public Safety is on. Nana, good morning. Thanks for joining the program. The issue about safety in the hospital, security, etc., has come up. I mean, are you impressed with the findings made by the committee in respect of this and your general views as well on the happenings?
Well, thank you very much, Salom, and good morning to your panelists in the studio. Good morning to your viewers as well. I think for starters, I would also tie into what Honorable Member of Parliament, Fred Agbenyo, mentioned, that no one has the right to enter an institution and abuse anybody, to assault anyone. No one has the right. And to that extent, if it has been established that something of this nature has gone on at the Ridge Hospital, it is important that this is dealt with as per law dictates. It is something that we must do to create a sense of deterrence among the public so that it will not recur in the future. That said, I think last week or 2 weeks ago when I was on your show, I did mention that it is important that directors of these facilities are held accountable for such breaches that threaten both patient and staff safety. And so moving forward on that score, I would like to see medical directors or facility managers, put in place an effective security system, preferably one that is in layers, to ensure that such breaches do not recur. It's not a new phenomenon. It's something that has occurred several times within our jurisdiction. And so we should take it seriously. That said, the investigation report, that came out, I think, 2 days ago, was interesting. I was not surprised of the outcome of the report. I am rather taken aback by the pushback from the fraternity, the Ghana registered nurses and other, persons within, the Ridge Hospital. Why? Because this is not new. As a country, we all know the state of our health system. We know the character of our health system. And for once, I want to personify the health system. We know its character. Yes, there are challenges, but we all know how things play out when one goes to the hospital. So when such things happen and suddenly we all want to, pretend that everything is okay within our health system, it's quite disturbing. One, with this particular report, we still do not have any video evidence of assault. This thing has been 2 weeks now. We've been talking about allegations of assault. No one has produced a single video of an assault. That is one. Number two, the doctor who examined the lady at the center of the issue, we do not know whether she determined a dislocation by physical examination or by an objective method by so doing. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just the little knowledge that I have. So Dr. Okoe-Boye can help. Just for clarity, my doctor is not a syringe doctor. So just for clarity, because I'm sure Dr. Okoe-Boye will be cringing at some of the things I'll be saying.
Now, why is the medical doctor saying so? No, you are a PhD.
Yeah. Yes. So we need to establish what how did this doctor determine a dislocation? Did she go by a more subjective method by physical examination? And if she did by physical examination, then I can understand why
But the doctor didn't say.
the committee conclusion is causing so much chaos. But if she went about this by an objective method, such as a CT or MRI scan or an X-ray, then we need to see the X-ray or the CT scan that was taken, at the time when the lady reported for care. If in the absence of that, then it's going to be the word of, the patient and her doctor against the word of the investigative committee. And that one, we could split our heads and there will be no common grounds.
Yeah, but
We
I'm not
must
sure the
establish
doctor.
those facts.
I'm not sure the doctor said the lady suffered dislocation. I don't see that in her report, unless, of course, I don't understand the technical things here. But the doctor didn't say she had a dislocated shoulder. So I'm wondering what that came from, actually. Perhaps it came from the lady.
Well, but even before the medical director, when the lady was being interviewed on TV, before the cameras, she was talking about some of the things that happened to her.
So she said she had dislocated.
So she was like, she was hit in the chest, went through a lot of things, and even her shoulder. And when he said her shoulder, she suffered the shoulder, and then someone in the background said dislocation. And the behavior was like, she sort of accepted the term. As to whether really it happened or it was the use of the term, the doctor didn't say anything about that. I'm talking about the one who saw her.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was just explaining to Fred that if a dislocation happens, I've fixed a couple of them. It's just the head of your humerus going out of the socket, like the hand coming out. The one who knows how to do it, you just apply pressure and it goes back. Once it's put back, nothing can show that it happened. You get it? So I think my issue is that you don't need to have a dislocation to show that you've been assaulted or battered.
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah, that's clear. I mean, that's clear. But the other issue that has come up is the thing happened on the 17th in the hospital. Yeah. The lady went home and came back the following day to be admitted.
No.
In fact,
he was at the hospital.
The thing happened in the hospital.
Yeah, she was at the hospital.
But she went home and came back. No. So the doctor's report actually was not for that day. It was the next day.
No, she didn't go home. She was at the hospital.
She was at the hospital, but she was not attended to.
Yes, so they were attended to her
the following day.
The following morning.
Under such circumstances.
Yes.
That's even part of the problem, because one of your people, not a staff, but one of the people working the rotation nurse, everybody saw what happened, if what they say is correct. Pounced on, from what her court documents are saying. Yeah. She was pounced on by hoodlums and beaten to pulp. That's what the court documents say. That's what she told. That's what the court. I'll quote it for you. That's what the court document is saying. That's what her report to the. That's what she's taking to court. So the plaintiff was busily engrossed in the provision of care for patients, and while she was diligently attending to patients, the defendant and his followers accosted her. The defendant, without provocation, struck the patient's left hand with a clenched fist and a metallic cell phone. The attack took the plaintiff by surprise, as it was entirely unwarranted and without provocation. Paragraph 16. The defendant and his followers, who were well-built men, escalated the attack and pounced on the plaintiff and brutally beat her to pulp from behind and all over her body. As a result, the plaintiff sustained injuries to her right shoulder, left lower arm, back, waist, and other parts of her body. She also currently has severe headaches, chest pains, and body pains following the attack. The plaintiff now suffers frequent panic attacks and nightmares as a result of the brutal attack. This is what she's taking to court.
Although, I think we would also not be too fair to the facts if we assume that because of some of these, in terms of the reporting, the timing, because of this, I will not say either inconsistency or it doesn't flow that well in terms of when she was seen under that. For us to use that to assume that no tax came to the facility would also be unfair.
No, there were people in the facility. When I would call them tax on there were people in the facility. Yeah, so I hear the gentleman was a bike rider who got an accident. So his colleagues.
It's true. I'm just saying that so that because sometimes where you put emphasis can indirectly, not without intention, unintentionally, withhold or erase some other facts. But in the hospital, I'm trying to put myself in an emergency. If one of our staff gets attacked by some outsiders, and the doctor on duty or some doctors on duty are busy on orders, what sometimes happens is that there are some medications that
You just give to the person.
senior nurses are able to give to, how do you call it, to mitigate a situation, whilst the doctor will come and write all our copious notes. Pain injection, like a Diclo injection like this, you don't need a consultant to give a painkiller. Sometimes what happens is that when a matter attracts attention and then it is realized that it might end up in court, even junior doctors who see a case are allowed not to be the one to end up in the folders, but to let a senior person, because as for me, I've stood before judges to comment on medical cases, but not everybody. So I'm also trying to make us to be careful, not to create the impression that maybe on the day that the thing happened, between that time to the next day, she was never given any intervention or something. You know? So, I mean, some of these things are not too clear, and it's also, it might be possible that it's because we don't have the full report, like the Mr. Goodman mentioned. But forgive me, Salom, quickly, I think we must be interested in the lessons going forward.
Yeah, before that, the fact that she was admitted the following day, not the same day, is an issue. Well, if you go through what she has described, you don't go home and come back the following day.
Oh, no, I mean, look, see, Sarah, I mean, see.
The lady said she was better than the police report.
No, this is
not a police
a statement of claim
The statement of claim
to court.
She was beaten by well-built men.
Because they said she reported her injuries on the left hand on the next day, 18th August 2025, and was further treated.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to, if there appears to be an inconsistency.
Yes, the inconsistency is important.
Yes, I'm not trying to explain it away, but I'm just trying to, based on my experience in the world.
So you're not going to the specific issue now, you're just giving me a general.
Yes, so that you might, so that you would infer. Sometimes that's what we do. Why maybe possibly such a thing happens. So you can have a situation where two people fight. One is beaten to pulp, goes home in pains, and like is in the house till the next day, and talks to people and they go like, look, you have to take this to police. But police will not handle this case without a medical report. I've seen a lot of people who come to the hospital a day or even two after. Sometimes if you are lucky and you can pick some.
But these are untrained men.
No, I understand.
But this one,
of
she
course.
ought to have known better.
But I'm just trying to tell you some of the things
And
that
the
happen.
context should even make her know better.
And that's why I said there are certain medications you don't even need, it's not a doctor that gives certain interventions.
That's
Exactly. So it is possible that she was giving some painkillers.
But the lady didn't go home.
So the report
Because
is not correct.
in the morning, I was there. The lady didn't go home from that. I was there the whole of the Monday. I was there the whole of the Tuesday. And I confirmed that.
But this is a report.
The doctor attended
This is a report.
the following day.
Nobody has said that.
This is a report. So that's fine. The doctor signed the following day. And then the report is also saying that she reported her injuries.
No, the fact that what is reported doesn't mean he went.
If the nurse didn't go home, but the capturing of the events was done the following day, someone might interpret it as she came for care the next day.
No, that's not the case.
But I think
So
we still have.
so these are
Let's wait for the
inconsistencies
full report.
we need to clarify.
Let me just.
Yes, but I want to deal with him on a few things, right? The thing about, in a few seconds, we need to make progress. The clearance. Why should medical, and it's not the first time, why should doctors and even teachers work for a lot of months? When you are giving clearance, I should expect that I work 1 month, the month ends, you pay me. Why do you keep people working for several months?
Quickly, the time I was trying to assist him, I think the point, some might think that he's trying to say that, okay, because they are not paid, then they had a reason to even not to act.
That's not what I mean.
I think the point is to let the public know that there are some people you meet at the hospital, despite their presence at work, their allowance or whatever is that. So it's like a form of sacrifice. They are doing their best despite those difficulties. That's the point. Just to appreciate the person's condition. Now, I had to wait for about 12-13 months before I received my first salary.
So why is this so?
Yeah.
And
When
you faced it as a young doctor.
We tried to.
You became a minister.
Yes.
And it's still the same.
I think even we try to cut it down. Like I said, I finished somewhere 2008-9. And even at that time, I had to wait 12, 13 months. It's come down to about 7-8 months and all that. The ideal thing is to push it to 90 days. That's what we're trying to work towards. But guess what? When you receive a list, let's say this year, 10,000 nurses have been onboarded. They have to go through, that's some of the lessons that, or things that we're told. They have to go through a meticulous process to make sure that there's no ghost in that 10,000. And this process includes physical validation. After the physical validation, apparently you have to give the list to finance. Finance works with controller and accountant. Controller must now put it on their system. Sometimes the allocation made in that year for salaries, by the time they will finish onboarding, you have a situation where even the financial year has passed. They have to now make an allocation to pay not only your salary for a particular month, but also the arrears. So we've had some reasons. The truth is that over the years, we've reduced the waiting period. But I also want to admit that, first of all, it is not Minister Akando's fault that we have these 8 months. But most importantly, we can still push it further to about 3 months or so. We cannot live in a country where if you finish, you start working, it takes about a year before you see the service.
I know Dr. Akwada couldn't finish his point, but I will come back to him to conclude his point. But the other point about the committee made, which we all know, the malfunctioning facilities.
Yes.
Rich hospital, emergency, CT scan not working, MRI is not working, even X-ray machines not working, none of the diagnostic imaging equipment working in an emergency.
Yeah. I mean,
what's the problem? What's the cause? Why can't we fix this forever?
These things can be fixed. There are a few things that we have to work on. Forgive me for saying this, but sometimes, unfortunately, even in our hospitals, appointing heads sometimes is not only based on track record or capacity. Sometimes it is based on people's relationships and all that. So
the people are not competent.
I'm choosing my words well. That's what I'm saying, that even at the hospital sometimes.
Yeah, but you see, it's a general situation that cuts across, so it cannot be that.
No, it's just one. The other thing too is that the charges that we take at public hospitals, they are social charges determined by the people's reps. When you take account of those charges, sometimes if you put all of them together, they are not even able to service the machine. Let's say an X-ray, you are charging, let's say, 20 cedis on paper for X-ray at reach. Meanwhile, when a small part malfunctions, to fix it, you need, let's say, 100,000. So you have a situation where the charges that have been set by the people's rep are not enough to maintain these machines. And the people's rep set these social charges with the excuse that they would support the facilities to handle the gap. But sometimes the support do not come.
Other times, and then, there's no interest in repairing them because the doctors refer
I'm coming there. And then the other leg is that sometimes the service agreements are not even signed in terms of maintenance regime. It's not proper. Okoe-Boye, for example, before I became board chair at Okoe-Boye, most of the time, MRI doesn't work, CT was not working. We had meetings, and then what we decided to do was that, okay, we are going to have a private person collaborate with the hospital to have their machines in the hospital, so that if ours doesn't work, you don't need to drive to East Legon. In the same Okoe-Boye, a private person. But this time, this private person, when he takes care of you, some of the revenue is coming to the facility. That helped to sort of, slow down, I'll not say sabotage and all that. And then, Salam, the one which is also very important is the point you made. Sometimes, those who are supposed to manage some of these facilities or instruments, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, also have businesses which are operate similar things. And the way we need reforms in the going forward. Reforms elsewhere in certain countries, when you are a health worker, the number of hours that you must necessarily work in your hospital is stated. Yes. So that it's not enough to come 1-2 hours, see a few patients and go. Secondly, in other jurisdictions, they even sign, if you work with government, you can work only a certain number of hours in a private setting outside the government facility, so that you don't rededicate your energies. Yes, absolutely. So work. I think it's an amalgam of factors, and my concluding statement is that we can fix these issues. Sure. What I don't want to hear is the impression that we are helpless. We can. And by the way, most hospital directors or bosses keep their position not based on their performance or output. If we move to a regime where certain indicators is what determines whether you still be the boss of a unit, a department, things will start changing. So one sad thing I've realized in this country, people can still receive promotion based on the number of years sometimes they've worked, and not necessarily what happened when they were working. All these are things that we have to look at, and we'll do better in our facilities.
I see. Yes, let me come to you briefly. No, sorry, Dr. Akwada was making a point. We couldn't finish. Doc, just conclude your point for me, please.
Yeah, Salom, thank you. I think you took the wind out of my sail, and one of the points I was going to come to is just what Dr. Okoe-Boye finished with. The part about managing, the work times of healthcare practitioners, both doctors and nurses across board. I think as a country, we should be able to do that. And that would tie into a next point, but to the extent that the public, the professional associations, and even us in the panel still are raising, questions, and there are areas we do not know. I agree we don't have the full report. Suggests to me that as a country, we need to move forward, and with, on the back of this incident. One, if you go to countries like the US, the UK, the ones that we, look up to, with this experiment that we are having, they have bodies that are independent of both their health ministries and their health services, right? So we need bodies that are independent of that. We can fall on SHRA, Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, for this, some of these issues. But if we think that the health sector is a specialized area that requires people with in-depth understanding of both the challenges and the workings in the health sector, in the US, they have the Joint Commission. In the UK, they have the Care Quality Commission. We could have, a semblance of these bodies in our country to, fashion out issues of this that occur in the health sector. These bodies have the powers to investigate abuse, failures in patient care and safety incidents at the health facilities. If we think that is going to be a matter of budgetary concerns, we can't even have ombudsman offices where individuals with concerns, both either the staff or the patients with concerns, could approach for redress. These are things that we can do to advance, development within our healthcare system. Moving forward, I think that we should also mandate it, and this can be done by the Ministry of Health. Let us mandate, reporting by, all government health facilities, annual reporting of sentinel events. So at the end of the year or at a particular time in the year, all public facilities will be reporting sentinel events such as assaults, unexpected deaths, major care failures, so that we can use these data and these reports as a basis to improve on health delivery within our healthcare system. I think that we cannot continue to run the system the way we've done it in the last 60 some years, and expect that we are going to see a major improvement. What the Bureau of Public Safety is advocating for is to have an ombudsman office or an establishment where people with concerns can, approach if we cannot approach the SHRAG. And then two, we must mandate, reporting for sentinel events for all public health facilities, so that by so doing, we can all know what we are going for when we choose a particular health department. And I believe that is also going to be a motivation and a driver for managers of healthcare facilities to improve on their services.
Very well. Thanks so much, Dr. Kwada. Yes, your concluding remarks.
We have a lot of work to do in our health sector as a nation, i.e. retooling the health sector so that we can get better health care for all the people of this country. The training that we give to our healthcare personnel, we need to do something more about it. There's something that is critical in this country, the subject of patriotism and nationalism. I think that gradually either it is fizzled out completely or nobody seems to care about it. President Kufuor made a statement years back that governments pretend to be paying Ghanaians and Ghanaians also pretend to be working. Dr. Okoe-Boye, by the grace of God, had an opportunity of being a board chairman of Okoe-Boye before. Then he was also a CEO of Okoe-Boye. Then health. Just board chair. Then became the Minister of Health. You see, sometimes it's difficult to say these things as they are, lest you are accused and people start calling you names. Almost every government hospital you go to today, even though they have labs to test for basic issues, often they will give you
Go and do it outside.
Go and do it outside. The doctor will sign his signature out there. Where they refuse, when you go to some of the facilities, they will ask you which doctor directed you to this place. So as you start there watching, there's a book. You enter the particulars in. When you go to the labs, government labs, and you talk to the physicians who work over there, they will tell you, but we have the machines to do all these tests.
So there's some interest,
there's something funny that goes on. Something very funny. See, you go to Okoe-Boye, in between Radio Gold, where the traffic, just after the traffic light, there's a lab over there. Almost all the specialist doctors in Okoe-Boye,
they refer people there.
they also work there.
Okay.
So you go, they will say, okay, meet me there maybe at 2 o'clock. Or this doctor will come at 1, this one will come at 3. They will come and treat you there, come and do everything there. We know that things are happening across the country.
So we must fix it. We know the problem.
The machine, small machine gadget is sport. I agree when he said that time financing is the cause. But sometimes when you look at it closely, it's as if let us allow it to be the way it is, so people can go and do it outside for additional. I don't know. So really, when we conclude or agree that we need to even decide how we allow people to keep their positions or how we promote people, it's something we need to look at. It must not just be because you have worked at that place for 10 years, so you must become the boss at all costs.
Or there are other interests.
So really,
great.
It's funny.
Yeah, Jefferson, your final
I
thought.
think you're going to allow me to say something else before you didn't allow me. You see, those days, when you come from nursing college and teacher training college, and you're allowed to go and teach. Those days, the results don't come early. Those days, it was automatic posted.
Yes.
Once you finish college,
Now there are many. So
now you are many now. They say national service and all these things just to delay the people. When you start teaching or you go, the allowance that you will receive once at college, you will continue to be on that allowance
until your salary
you pass your exams.
Okay.
When your result comes and you have passed your exams, then now they move you onto a salary scale. You have to go to the IPPD forms, complete and do. So automatically, there is no way they can engage you today. By the end of the month, you get your salary. But the way the system is. And that's why Dr. Okoe-Boye is saying that when the numbers come out in that life, but these two institutions, health and teaching,
the numbers are
always ghost names. Always the ghost never die.
It could be better. Okay.
So it can be better. But sometimes when we create the impression, when we are communicating as though it's a case that government is refusing to pay, when we know too well that this has been the protocol, though a very bad one. But that's what the case has always been. But the way my brother put it, I saw, these people have worked for 8 years
I think
and nobody is paying them. No, it is not like that.
So Jefferson, I mean, wait, no, Jefferson. So
Jefferson.
we have actually seen that the matter, contrary to what we were thinking, that the criminal aspect is not being pursued. It has been pursued. It's being pursued. Indeed, they were in court, and the gentleman, one of the guy arrested, Lord Niyama, has been granted bail. He's on bail. 50,000, one surety, justify, etc. So he's on bail. Matter to be recalled. The agenda date is 23rd September 2025 for CMC. You know, so that's it. The matter is progressing, and it's in court. And incidentally, I know the two lawyers. I know the lawyer for the accused, and I know the lawyer for the lady, which should be the state. But there's a lawyer watching brief. That's how we call it, because the state that is prosecuting. So the lawyer is watching brief. I see that, and I see the court processes. So the matter is in court. Yeah. All right. So I mean, the other point is, so then we are fighting for nurses. Yeah. Can nurses also assure us in 1 minute that they will also improve their customer service so that we will all be fine? Just 1 minute, so that we move on.
Thank you very much. But I'm also happy with the case. I was very happy the defendant's lawyer, the case he raised, saying that the main accused person, which is Raf, is on the run. Yeah. Police is not even interested in arresting him. So therefore, I'm also interested. Yes. You could have added that.
Also, you know about that. You know that the case is in court.
I'm following it.
No, but I'm surprised because
I'm following it.
So the defendant's lawyer indeed, said that the gentleman was on TV and radio all over the place. And they didn't oppose the bail application.
Exactly. So,
but you should have mentioned that, because I'm just getting this information. But you have
not brought that. You are leading the conversation. You have not brought that conversation.
I didn't bring up.
Anyway. Oh no.
So just assure us. Don't go to play.
For nurses and midwives in the country, you know that we have held the health system for all these while. It is not new that I am bringing a new assurance. We are doing the work. We have already been doing what we are doing. There are challenges.
There are some of your people, they'll be doing TikTok, they'll be doing this.
There are challenges. I have been on a board where people's licenses were revoked.
There's this other issue. We need to make progress, right? We understand that there are CPDs they do. Yes. They renew their PINs, PINs every year, and it counts with CPD, professional evaluation, etc. Have we had instances where people's PINs or PINs have not been renewed as a punishment because they've not been nice to, or
No. You can't say you renew it. You can only revoke it.
Okay.
So there has been some.
But we hardly see those.
Oh, if you can have your people visit.
And it's not made public.
Nurses and midwife council. They will give you a lot of data. They revoke them.
Progress.
But what I'm saying is, for us, we are committed. I must say that currently the morale is very down. But I assure every nurse that everybody, now we could see that people are condemning the act. Honorable here have condemned the act that nobody has any right to visit a facility and beat them. We are not the cause of the delay or the cause of the malfunctions of the equipment there. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. My dear nurses and midwives, please let us do our best. Let's put on our professional caps. And like you have been doing always, let's be on guard. And I think Ghana will be a better place. But for the salaries.
And the bad ones, you must stop.
Definitely. There will always be.
Whilst you are attending to patients.
But right now, the links is on the phones.
Please.
The links are on the phones.
It can be. But sometimes it's not the links or whatever they are watching. We know that.
No.
So very well. Let me take a few messages.
I'm not saying that
my
people
good
are
friend
not
says that every OPD and emergency should have a customer relations rep who engages their clients and relatives. Nurses cannot be doing all this. Institutions should have this in place. That's a good point from Okoe-Boye. He has some nice words for Okoe-Boye as well. Okoe-Boye, everybody has nice words for him. That's fine. So good morning, Salom. This one from Joseph Adobo says, the committee reports couldn't be far from the truth. The bandages seem to be more artificial because I wonder how, with all this thickness of bandage, she's able to throw her hands and twist her body to still narrate her soul. Okay, all right. And then this one from Yao says, everyone condemns the act of Raf taking videos. What again do you want? Today you are a nurse, but tomorrow you may be a patient. Therefore, you should be an advocate for patients somehow, as you were taught in school. Okay, it says, okay. This one says, the lady said there was dislocation.